The twists and turns of the relationship between a boy, his murderer father and his policewoman grandmother have enthralled the nation for 9 years, but tomorrow night is the final episode of Happy Valley with star James Norton rather cryptically suggesting fans will be content with the ending. Will James Norton's psychopathic character, Tommy Lee Royce, kill his nemesis Catherine Cawood, played by the brilliant Sarah Lancashire, as he promised in last week's episode after escaping from jail? Or will she end his life first? And what role will Ryan Reese Khanna, who is Tommy's son and Catherine's grandson, play in the final showdown? Trailers for the finale have ramped up the excitement, showing a frantic Catherine saying, "Has still out there. Has going to be angry and has going to be even more desperate and dangerous." All in all, it's safe to say that viewers are hooked. Especially as they've been forced to wait for each episode. In a world of streaming and binge viewing, the success of Happy Valley has been a reminder of the power of watching something together as a nation, the anticipation that can sometimes make the treat all the sweeter when it arrives. In the meantime, fans have gone into overdrive with internet groups swapping theories about the finale, particularly over what role Catherine's sister Claire, Siobhan Finneran, might play. Channel 5 News presenter Dan Walker is among the celebrity fans with ideas. He speculated on Twitter, "Ryan says he'll run away but betrays Tommy and gets murdered by his dad. Catherine kills Tommy on her last day in the job and Claire takes the fall to show her sister that she loves her." However, not even the cast know exactly how it will all end. While rumors of 5 different endings being filmed are wide of the mark, Reese admits he isn't sure exactly what the final scenes will look like. "There is one ending but they've filmed them in different ways of how characters say things, the emotions behind them, the angles and the framing," says the 16-year-old actor who has been playing the role of Ryan since he was a boy. How much that stuff can affect a scene is more than most people would think. All that the cast will reveal about that ending, which will have an extra 10 minutes, is that it is extra special. "It's classy and elegant and explosive and surprising," says James. "And it's heartfelt. It feels surprising but, on the other hand, you will go, of course. There was no other way of doing it. And it most definitely is the end." So whether you're a long-time, dyed-in-the-wool fan or pitching up for the first time, before sitting down to watch the final episode, here is everything you need to know about Happy Valley. Happy Valley ends on BBC One tomorrow at 9 p.m. Not So Happy Valley. Sally Wainwright was inspired to write the show after watching a documentary called Shed Your Tears and Walk Away about drug and alcohol problems in the Hebden Bridge area of West Yorkshire. She started working with police advisors who told her the area was known as Happy Valley because of the issue with drugs. "For me, it reflected the show," she says of the name. "It's dark but it has also got a lot of humor in it too. We look at the dark side of life but how, within that, people always find ways of being funny and warm and human." While locals bristle at the idea Hebden Bridge is a haven for drugs and murders, in fact it is one of West Yorkshire Police's quietest areas. Many of them have enjoyed the fame that has come with being in one of the country's biggest shows. After Happy Valley was screened on Netflix and became a favorite, the area has attracted fans from America, China, and Sweden, with Catherine's house being a particular draw. The story so far: we first met Sarah Lancashire's indomitable police sergeant Catherine Cawood in 2014 and, from the start, it was clear this was a different type of cop show, not least because of her complex relationship with the key villain. 8 years earlier, shortly after giving birth to son Ryan, Catherine's daughter Becky had been driven to suicide by Tommy Lee Royce, with whom she was in an abusive relationship. Ryan was the result of Tommy raping Becky. This terrible death had led to the breakup of Catherine's marriage and estrangement from her son Daniel, who had insisted she give up Ryan for adoption. Instead, she was caring for him with the help of her former drug addict sister Claire. Catherine became involved in the hunt for millionaire's daughter Anne Gallagher, who had been kidnapped by Tommy, and this led to their first major confrontation when he tried to pour petrol over Ryan and kill Catherine. The second series was set 18 months later, with Tommy in jail and Catherine having been awarded a medal. While cop Catherine became involved in a human trafficking investigation, Tommy had persuaded one of his fans to become Ryan's teaching assistant so that he could form a relationship with the boy behind Catherine's back. At the start of the third series, which takes place 7 years later, Catherine is looking forward to retirement but is devastated to learn that Claire and her fellow former ex-junkie boyfriend Neil, Con O'Neill, have been taking Ryan to see Tommy, who claims to have changed, in prison. She is also connected to a case of a woman called Joanne, Molly Winnard, who is being abused by her husband Rob Hepworth, Mark Stanley, who is also Ryan's PE teacher. Joanne has become hooked on prescription tranquilizers. They have been illegally supplied to her by her pharmacist neighbor Faisal Badi, Amit Shah. When he is threatened with blackmail both by Joanne and a criminal gang, he kills her in attempts to frame Rob. Meanwhile, Tommy escapes as he is being tried for a new crime. At the beginning of the final episode, we see him hiding back in Yorkshire, determined to kill Catherine, abduct Ryan and move to Spain. Tommy's Barnett Norton's movie star good looks have always provided a fascinating contrast with the ugliness of his character. And we learn a lot about Tommy through his hairstyles. In the first series, it was dyed bleached blonde as the criminal left prison to embark on a new crime. In the second, stuck in jail again, it was completely shaved as he contemplated getting his revenge on Catherine from behind bars. At the start of the third, his hair was long and straggly. Sally loves giving Tommy mad haircuts, says James, who sported hair extensions for this series. She wanted it to feel like something happened over the years, not as obvious as Tommy's found God, but that there is a groundedness to him. Something has shifted, and the manifestation of that is that he looks like Christ. But before his court appearance, Tommy had a haircut by a real-life barber from Manchester, which shows him with his most normal haircut yet. He wants to start a new life and even be part of a family with Ryan. But will the thug in him emerge? Talking Yorkshire, it is hardly surprising Americans watch the series with the subtitles on. This show is pure Yorkshire, with Catherine and her fellow cast members greeting each other with typical regional dialect, including phrases like, "ow do," "na then" and "day up." Other Yorkshire patois included in the series include summit, something, mither, irritate, and maddled, confused. Catherine gets all the best one-liners, often rather fruity ones. Perhaps the most moving was the understated expression of love between Ryan and his gran last week after he discovered what she had sacrificed to look after him. "Granny, I love you," Ryan told Catherine. Her response was a simple but incredibly powerful, "Was brought that on?" The boy who grew up. The weight between the second and third series came down to writer Sally Wainwright wanting us to see Ryan, and Reese, the actor who played him, on the cusp of manhood and ready to make his own decisions. I wanted to get to a point where Ryan would be old enough to start making choices about whether he wanted to have a relationship with his dad or not, Sally reveals. And could he have a relationship with his dad, and how would Catherine feel about that? This is just the right period of time because he is now 16, so he can travel places by himself, he can make choices. Thankfully Reese, who first played Ryan when he was 8 after being discovered at an after-school drama club in Manchester, not only still wanted to play the role but has proved to be a brilliant actor. I was told at some point that Sally was waiting for me to grow up a bit, the actor says. I didn't know to what extent he'd be growing up, whether it'd be waiting until I was 15 or 25. Then I got a call, it's happening.